Well, I want to make sure that the railway survives me and outlives me. It's in a wonderful setting, in a beautiful valley. It has thousands of supporters. It recreates the past in a living format, so people can travel in the coaches, they can smell the steam loco, they can sit on the seats that soldiers in the First World War sat on. And that's something that we want to ensure continues after we're not here.
You're working with like-minded people who are doing the job because they want to do it. It's not like a normal job where you're paid. These are people who love what they're doing.
Hello, Malcolm. Good to see you. Good to see you. How are you?
1963. I was a 13-year-old lad, and my mum used to bring me and my two brothers along to the open days. You remember the open days they used to have at Bridge North? And I thought, this is good, this is. And when I started working and I could drive, that's when I started.
You started coming up?
I started coming up, yes.
Yeah.
What about you?
Well, I was similar. I was interested because steam was coming to an end on the railways, and I just thought it was something worthwhile to try and preserve something of the past and keep it active rather than stuffed in a museum. So I became involved when I was 13, and I've been coming ever since. I got involved in the late 60s, just after we started, after 3205 arrived, which in itself seemed very old at the time, 3205. It was 21 years old when we took it over. Many of the locos now, of course, are approaching 100 years of age, and they're still running regularly on the railway, which is quite an achievement, really.
That's right, yes.
I often think of the railway as being a family, and how important has it been to your life?
It's difficult. In my case, it has been a family affair because, as you know, my mother worked on the observation car doing teas and coffees, etc. on there. So to her, it was a big thing. And to me, it was a big thing because I so enjoyed working on the railway. I so enjoyed doing the job I was doing. I loved looking after the structures of the stations. I loved talking to the passengers, the people. And the volunteers are so nice.
What I do remember particularly was the first train from Bridge North, which I was privileged enough to ride on. I didn't have a ticket, but I managed to get in the brake van. I was very young. And the sense of achievement at reopening the railway, which we thought was impossible, was a dream come true. So I became a member of the loco department and passed out as a fireman when I was quite young, and by 23 I was a driver.
Yes.
And I've been driving for over 40 years since.
My initial work was at Hampton Load Station, which was the end station at the time. And I suppose that's what started me working on stations. Although I had an interest in steam, it was the architecture. I always had an interest in architecture. And I thought, I want to do something with these stations. I want to help preserve the stations because, of course, the interest then was looking after the steam engines and the coaches.
I'm often reminded that the railway was 100 years old when we took over, and now it's over 150 years old. So the infrastructure, the buildings, the track work all need more and more money to be spent on them in order to maintain the railway in such good condition.
The bridges, the embankments, even the stations are going to need a lot of work because, as you pointed out, they're very old. And that's where the large money is going to have to be spent in the future.
Collectively, we've all worked together to provide something of excellence for future generations.
There was so much work and effort by people of all ages, and it was a big strain and a lot of effort. I want to ensure, by having a legacy, that their effort is not wasted, that all the effort that they put into doing this and moving this equipment, breaking their backs, breaking their legs, all the aches and pains they went through is not wasted. And it would be wasted if we didn't raise enough money to keep the railway going well into the future.
When you decided to leave a legacy, how easy was it?
I was surprised how easy it was. Initially, I just contacted the charitable trust and they advised me very well how to go about it. So that was great.
Would you encourage others to leave a legacy?
Oh, most definitely. Of course, for the reason we've said, I think it is so important, and if any enthusiast who loves the Severn Valley as we do, it'd be fantastic if they would do that. I'd definitely encourage it, yes.
It's really sort of a legacy from them as an investment for the future of the railway, which is fantastic.
Yeah, of course, yes.
Legacies have been a lifeline to the Severn Valley for the last 50 years. Moving into the future, legacy donations will help fund our academy, they'll help fund infrastructure and rolling stock projects, but also our endowment fund. And this is a long-term investment that we will actually be able to future-proof the railway with. What we always say is to make sure that family and loved ones have been taken care of first before any legacy is considered to the charitable trust. The advantages, obviously, of leaving money to a charity is significant inheritance tax benefits for many families. We actually have our own solicitors who provide a discounted will writing service, and we've got myself and the team in the office who will help on a step-by-step basis. I've chosen to leave a legacy to the Severn Valley, and I urge all of our supporters to. The reason I've done it is because I want to ensure that my family get to have the same experiences as I have in what I call my beloved railway.
So much effort has gone into it. It brings so much enjoyment to thousands of people every year that it's something that's important to me to ensure that it's part of my legacy to future generations.
I want to make sure that all the effort those volunteers, some of them long since gone of course, all the effort that those people put into obtaining all the items that are on the stations are still going to be there in the future.
Everybody's got a smile, haven't
Yes.
they? When they visit us, everybody's smiling, they go away happy, and they come back to see us again. And some of them decide to volunteer, and hopefully some of them will consider leaving bequests to help us in our cause.